Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ria, and today we are talking about Squid Game. Squid Game season 2 recently came out a few weeks ago and it has been blowing up just like last time. It is everywhere. I mean everywhere. It is on my Instagram, it is on my YouTube. It somehow reached my Pinterest page. How? I don't know, but it is everywhere and I wanted to talk about it before the hype dies down. This is not the first video I'm filming for season 2 of Squid Game. I already filmed one video about this, but that video was like 1.5 hours long. And I just kept talking and just I kept yapping about stupid stuff, and it was a tier ranking video. So I just kept talking and talking, and I had to scrap that video then because it was just too long, and I'm pretty sure no one wants to hear me talk that much about Squid Game. So now I have made little notes so I can be on point and talk about the actual stuff that is important and the main points so I don't go off track. So first of all, let's talk about the season itself, the episodes. I think the season was pretty good. I've seen many mixed reviews about this and I get why. The pacing was not very good though. That's one of the things. For example, that entire subplot of the search, the boat thing, wait, what's it called, the search team looking for the island, that story was so useless. I did not want to see that, and that story led to absolutely nowhere. I don't know why it was in there. I mean, I get it why it was in there. They're literally searching for the island, but it led to nowhere. I wish they had done something with it, like something happened with that, but nothing really did except for the fact that they found out the captain was like working for, I mean, they didn't find out, we found out. So the overall pacing was okayish. I liked the first episode. The first episode was good. It was a good setup. It was like, it felt like a really, it felt like a, first episode felt like it was going to be like a revenge story, and it is. But then later on, that vibe that we got in season 1, at least what I got, it was completely gone. And I really liked the last episode as well. The action was good. Let's talk about the characters now. First of all, we have the MC, Gihan himself. Gihan is got to be the dumbest person alive, and I'm not even kidding. Like, bro had such a good storyline. I thought it was going to be a good storyline for him, and the first episode set him up so well that I was like, yes, finally he's going to do something really great. And then nothing happened. He just kept making the same mistakes, and he kept making the worst decisions ever known to mankind, and it was kind of frustrating to watch. Honestly, the only good thing or like smart things he did were in the red light, green light, and that's only because he had played it before. Other than that, he didn't really do much, to be honest. The tracker thing, why did you only, I don't understand why he only put it in his toes. He could have put it, like, there should have been multiple trackers, I feel like. And they should have hidden it in a spot where no one could have found it. A teeth is like pretty obvious, in my opinion. And of course, he trusted number one again. After all of that in season one, if I was in his place, I would never trust the number one ever again. I would not trust anyone in there actually. I don't know. I don't know if he's just dumb, if he's just oblivious, or if he's just way too trusting. But it just made me mad how he just trusted number one so easily, especially after he kept acting so sus the entire season, and he just kept brushing off things like nothing. Like, bro, come on, just come on, please take a hint. He also seemed to have no character development from the last season. The only character development he did have was in the first episode. Like I said, in the first episode, it seemed like he was on his game. He was going to do something really big, but then nothing like that happened. He went into the games and he was the same. Like, just in Season 1, he was almost the same. He had no character development except for the fact that he was not smiling and laughing anymore. The only character development he had was this. That was all the character development he had. He also made very, very dumb decisions and stupid plans. Honestly, that plan of him revolting, the what was it called? Rebellion plan was actually kind of stupid, in my opinion. They did not, I mean, not they, he was the planner, and no one seemed to like question him, and everyone just kind of followed him blindly. Like, I don't know, they were so ready to risk their lives. I mean, they are already risking their lives, but this is them actually risking their lives, picking up guns and shooting people. Even if they did get into the control room, what what exactly was their plan? Because I don't remember, I watched it like a week ago, so I don't know, what was their plan? Were they going to just kill them all and then get out? Even if they did get out, they're on a island. How would they reach the mainland? It's just, I have so many questions about that rebellion, because they did not plan it out properly. It was probably the worst plan ever. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the front man, number one. I don't know what to say about this guy. I really liked him. I honestly loved this guy because you could see in the scenes that he kept side eyeing Gihan so much. It was actually so funny, especially in the last episode when they were making the plan. He was literally like he was not having it. He was so done with him. I like that he was just messing with the MC. That was great to see. I like the fact that he joined the games just to mess with Gihan and to just mess up with his plans and keep an eye on him. And before I forget, can we also talk about the ship edits of these two? Player 456 and player 1. The 457 shippers. It is insane. People would I never thought I would see this day, but here we are. It's actually kind of funny. It is funny. The fact that 457 has and it has a own fandom of itself is kind of crazy. It's the way he looks at him. That's all I have to say. I really like the part where they're planning about the rebellion, and Gihan goes like, "We have to sacrifice a few people for the greater good," and the frontman is like, "Sure, saying that make a small sacrifice for the greater good." So he's like, "Yeah," and the frontman just smiles because he knew that he won. I actually really liked that part. I really did. And it's like the frontman knows he won because Gihan is all about saving everyone, right? So now that he says that it's fine to sacrifice a few people, it's just also the only character development Gihan had was that, and it led to absolutely nowhere. It just led to more lives being lost and just no greater good being done. You know what I mean? So like there was only character development Gihan had and all of that. So I really like that part, and that is the only reason I'm pretty sure the frontman joined the game, because he wanted to prove the MC wrong, that like Gihan is all about saving everyone else, and that people are not selfish and people are good people, and he has faith in humanity. But the frontman is the complete opposite. He's like, there's no faith in humanity, and he does not believe in people, and he thinks people are selfish and people are greedy. So it's like a clash of, what's it called, clash of beliefs. And in the last episode, the frontman kind of wins because Gihan is like going to sacrifice all these people. So after the frontman won, he was like, he kind of dipped, he faked his own death, and he just left the game. I mean, he's still there, but he left the game. And the betrayal was coming. I knew the betrayal was coming. Everybody knew, but there were a lot of people who thought that, oh, maybe he changed because he was acting so nice, guys. He was acting. He was acting. Um, he really needs an Oscar. I mean the front man, not the actor. I mean the front man. I would have probably believed him too if he told me that his wife was in the hospital and she was dying, I would have believed him. I don't completely blame Gihan, but bro should have been careful. He's number one, he should have been careful. But yeah, anyway, I thought the frontman was great this season, and I was happy that he had more screen time and we just got to know more about him and his backstory and all of that. So yeah, enough with number one. We're gonna move on now because I've been talking for way too long about this guy. Next up is the frontman's brother or half brother, the cop, Junho. Have ever felt useless? Just look at this man. You will not feel so useless anymore. Bro had no purpose this season. He was just roaming around. He was Dora the Explorer. He was Zoro in Squid Game universe. It was like, bro, what was his point of being there except serving face? And I have no problem with that. But he, come on, he could have done something. There was absolutely no purpose for this guy, and that made me kind of mad. They did him dirty. They just kept going around in circles, not actually doing anything for the plot. And there's the subplot of them finding the island was just extremely useless and so boring. I mean, I get that he will have a major role in season 3 of him like finally finding the island and him confronting his brother and them having like a fight or something like that. I get that, but they could have just reduced his screen time. I honestly wouldn't have minded if he had less screen time. That useless subplot was just annoying. Okay, it was boring, and I did not like that. And I called it from the start that the captain was sus as hell. Like, okay, come on. Junho is a detective. He should have known. Come on. You see, why are these people so dumb in the Squid Game universe? I don't understand. He is a detective. He should have caught on the red flags. You're telling me that he fell from an island and this guy just happened to be there. Sure, okay, coincidence, sure. It could have happened, maybe it was his lucky day, he's maybe God's favorite. But he then proceeded to help him for 2 years to find this island, and he also kept telling him that I don't believe you, but I'm still going to help you for free. Who would do that? No one would do that. He's not even charging money for this. If he was being paid, maybe then I would understand. Like Gihan was doing to his men, but he was doing it for free. How did he not catch on these red flags? He also kept believing everybody. Do you guys not have trust issues at all? I'm just curious. How do you go around trusting literally everybody and everything? Yeah, his story this season was honestly absolutely nothing. It was zero. It was useless. Did Vihajun so dirty? Okay, next up is the pregnant girl. 222, Junhee. I liked her. She was fine. Actually, so happy about the fact that she stood her ground. She did not take her ex back after the shit he pulled. We love women who stand their ground. Yeah, she was nice overall. I liked her character. She's not my top characters though, but I really wish she makes it out. At least her baby makes it out because she's pregnant. Okay, first of all, wait. Why why would these people let a pregnant woman into Squid Game? And I've seen a lot of people say that, oh, they didn't know she was pregnant. Of course, they knew she was pregnant. They know everything about these people. How on earth did they not know that she was pregnant? They would have known. It's obvious that she's pregnant. It's just, this is like the worst possible inhuman, cruel thing to do, to get a pregnant woman into the games. That's just crazy. Not cool. Yeah, I hope she survives, honestly. If she dies, I'm going to be pretty sad if her and her baby die. I honestly think that she might go into labor in between the games, which is scary. And if she does not survive, at least her baby will, because the baby has to. Come on, it has to. Maybe her ex-boyfriend saves her somehow. But yeah, I will be pretty sad if she dies. I hope she makes it out. Next up is MC1, player 333, Myungi, MG Coin, the crypto bro. He was such a red flag in this show. Like, I don't even know how I can defend him anymore. I love the actor, but the character, not so much. He was fine. I mean, he was fine. I don't know what to say much about his character. except for the fact that he's addicted to crypto for some reason and he keeps investing. Does he care about his pregnant ex-girlfriend? I think so. He does care, but he cares about money more. But I think we can see in the last at least two episodes that he has changed and he does care about her. I think he's gonna die though. He is going to die. He's gonna probably die saving his ex or saving his baby. So that can be like his redemption or something. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it, honestly. If it's always like this, if they bring two characters together in Squid Game, if they already know each other from the past, they're gonna kill one of them off. It's pretty obvious they're gonna kill one of them off, and it's most likely going to be the boy. Can you also talk about the fact that MC1, all the roles that he takes, he is always getting beaten up in all the shows and all the movies. He got beaten up in Squid Game. He got beaten up in Stranger from Hell, Unlocked. What's the name? Emergency Declaration. He gets beaten up all the time. It's not even funny anymore. Why do you keep taking roles like these? Question of the day. Next up, we have Junbei. I probably pronounced his name wrong, but I can't remember his number. I think it was 390 or 388. I can't remember his number, but yeah, he was fine, I guess. Not the biggest fan of him, but he was fine. I like assumed that he was going to die as soon as I saw him, because that's what happened last season. Like I said, if they bring two characters that already know each other into the Squid Game, one of them is not going to survive. It's like a rule. And as soon as Jihan and Junbei, like, they started talking about like, oh yeah, we'll go out and we'll have soju after this and we'll do this and we'll do that, I was like, yeah, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. It's pretty obvious. It's always like that, it's like a very common trope used almost literally everywhere. When they start talking about their future, they die. He literally dies in this next episode, I'm pretty sure. I don't have much to say about him, but I want to say that he was moving pretty well in the last episode. Like, he was shooting down people like it was normal for him. Like, it's his everyday job. Like, how are you shooting this well? It's concerning. I mean, I know they have like mandatory military service in South Korea for men, but how are these guys so good at using guns? Isn't that kind of weird? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's just, how do these normal people know how to use guns that well? And I know it was military, but that would have been like years ago. How do they still manage to? And they're sniping them literally, like they're doing headshots and doing hard shots. It is crazy. Gihan, him, and player 120 were moving like crazy. How are they moving like that? I don't know. But anyway, moving on to player 120. My favorite. I loved her. I absolutely loved this person. I loved this person from the start. I think she's the only person who is not then the pregnant girl. She's the only person who's not greedy, who does not have like major gambling addiction. I'm pretty sure player 222 is the pregnant girl is doing it for her baby, and player 120 Yunchu is doing so she can like live a good life. She can complete her transition and then move to Thailand. I really liked her backstory. I liked her backstory the most, and I am genuinely rooting for her. If she does not make it out, if she does not make it to Thailand, I am going to be so mad. I am. And she was moving like crazy. When she was a sergeant in special forces in the military, so she knows how to use a gun very well. And she was moving like crazy, literally sniping people with that M5 gun, headshots like crazy. I had so much fun watching that was really fun. I liked her. I loved her. I'm going to cry if she dies. I just realized that I did not talk about the salesman. I completely forgot about him. He was played by Gong Yoo, one of my favorite actors. Again, most of this cast is filled with some of my favorite actors, Korean actors. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about the salesman. Honestly, he was crazy and he was psychotic. Did I wish he would have more screen time? I did, but he died. So next up is Dehu, player 3. I don't remember his number. But yeah, he was fine. I liked him. He was cute. He was nice. He was a good friend. And he was a good person in general. But then he got PTSD in the last episode and he freaked out and he did not get the ammo to them in time and then they lost. I'm pretty sure he's gonna die though. I don't know why. I think he's gonna die. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't see him making it out of this place. To be honest, if he does, I'm gonna be happy for him. Like that's great. I'm really curious though. What would have happened if he did reach the others with the ammo? Would they have won? Would they have reached the control room? Because I don't know. Because they still had a mole. They still had a traitor in their group. So I'm really curious how that would have played out. Okay, moving on is the mother and the son. Layer 149. We're gonna talk about the mother first. I love the mother. I hope she makes it out, and I hope she makes it out alive. If she dies, I'm gonna be really sad for her as well because she seems such a nice. She seems like such a nice lady. She is also the only one that is not there for selfish reasons. She is there because of her son to pay off her son's debts. Also, I've heard this theory that she's one of the VIPs or she's like she runs the games. She's one of the creators and she joined because they say that why she's the only person who has not joined for her money. She has joined for her son's money, if that makes sense. I don't know if I really believe in that theory, to be honest. If she dies, I'm gonna be really sad. And if the pregnant girl dies and her baby survives, maybe 149 will take care of her baby or something like that, but I don't know. The son, pretty much hate the son. He's pretty annoying, he's pretty unlikable. Don't have much to say about him. If he dies, I won't really care. I will just care about his mother's reaction. One of them is definitely going to die. It's bound to happen. It's pretty obvious because in the mingle game they got separated. So I think that was foreshadowing that one of them is going to die. I really hope it's not the mother. I won't really care if it's the son. Next up is Thanos, played by Top himself. So excited to see this guy. And he was funny and annoying at the same time. He was great, I think. His character was fun to see, but he was also so annoying at the same time. And his backstory was actually really, really sad. It was something like he was going to jump off a bridge, but then the salesman came to him and then told him that he could earn money and all of that, and that was just so sad. But I have not seen anyone talking about the fact that Thanos literally killed so many people. Like in Red Light, Green Light, he pushed a bunch of people, and I have not seen anybody talking about that. Like, he murdered these people. Why is no one talking about that? Next up, Semi, player 380. My girl died. Why did she die? I was rooting for her. I was hoping she would make it out alive, and I wanted to see some of her backstory, like why was she here and all of that. Oh, she died. It made me really mad. Also, she got betrayed by that Minsu guy. The only guy she trusted, she got betrayed by him, and then she died. Namgyu killed him, and like, bro was on the top of that bunk beds. They were over there on the bottom. And I saw he had a bottle and he was gonna throw it, and I was like, yes, yes, throw it, save her. And he proceeded to completely miss. Bro, how did you miss that bad? I don't understand. She died and he did nothing about it. That was just annoying. She died. I am so mad about the fact that she died. She had so much potential, I think. And she's like one of these people I think would have survived at least till the last game. This is making me so mad just thinking about this. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to Minsu now. The guy whose aim is so bad. I can aim better than him, and that's saying a lot because my aim is so bad. They were standing, he was like Namgyu was standing over here and he threw the bottle over here. Bro, how is your aim so bad? So why didn't he just jump on him? I mean, that would be pretty painful, honestly, and I that would be kind of scary to jump, but If it would have been a 2-on-1, they had a chance to beat Namgyu, but no. So moving on to other people I don't like. Namgyu, annoying. I hate him. Don't like him. I hope he dies. I hope Minsu kills him. Or like, bro, literally someone kill him. I don't even care anymore. Just kill him. Get out of here. Next up, 100. Player 100. Annoying. Hate him. Get out of here. I don't like you. I hope you die. Goodbye. Next up is North Korean girl. I forgot her name. Wait, what was her name? Naul or something. Noel. Bro, I don't know. I don't remember her name, but her, like, she was a guard. Her pink guard number was 11. I think she was fine, she was good. But her story also kind of led up to nowhere. I was excited to see her because she was like my favorite character in Sweet Home. So, like, yes, my favorite character in Sweet Home is in here. This is going to be exciting. But then her story kind of led up to nowhere. She was like revolting against her superiors, but it it led up to nowhere. I'm pretty sure her she would have a bigger story in season 3. She'll probably side with Gihan, and she will like go against the organization and all that, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, her story was also pretty, like, I don't know, it was not it in this season. Last is that Sikh girl's father, player 246. He was fine, I guess. I hope he does make it out though. He died, I think. I don't think he died, honestly, because a triangle guard shot him. So maybe it was a guard number 11 that shot him in a non-vital area, and he's alive, because they made like such a big deal about that storyline about guard 11 and that guy, that killing him off like that would just be like so useless, I think, and it would not make any sense. So I'm pretty sure he's still alive. So I hope he makes it out, and he finds his daughter, and he gets treatment for his daughter and all of that. Okay, so I think that's everyone. I think I got the most important characters, the main characters, the most important characters, the relevant characters. I'm pretty sure I got most of them. If you want to share your thoughts about Squid Game season 2 or the characters, or just talk about it, you can do it in the comments down below. Tell me about your opinions or anything else you want to talk about. So we're going to end this video over here. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you liked this video. If you did, like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram as well. I will link it down in the description below. Have a great day or night. Until next time. Bye.